Hey, Colabcoaching yet again to share some wise words of wisdom for the week. This is a brand new series. So excited to get into this series. I've talked about this lines of topics before, but I'm going a little bit in depth with it, making it more personal. So, without any further ado, the title of this series is Childhood series. We're gonna go deeper into the aspects of childhood, and we're gonna share some things, and hopefully you take something out of it. But the question slash topic I have for you this week is, what does your childhood say about you? What does your childhood say about you? Now, many people in this world may say that they had a good childhood. They had great experiences. They had lifetime memories that they can't remember today. But there are some people that say that their childhood is bad. They had a bad childhood because of certain experiences that they went through, and it kind of overshadows all the good that happened, and it kind of makes it like a blur of all the good experiences, because the bad experiences are pretty bad. So when it comes to childhood, I tend to think about, initially I was that person that was saying, okay, I didn't really have a good childhood. Because, disclaimer, as I've said in a couple videos, that my mother died when I was 10, older brother died when I was 15. So those type of deaths, at an early age, it has effects on you. It does. And it took me a while to actually be able to talk about it as freely as I am talking about it now, because I kind of suppressed it. And I'm sure I'm not the only person. I have talked to people that have had situations in their childhood that was not as great. May not be just like mine, but something even worse. And they suppressed it until they were actually able to talk about it later on in life. But for me, I realized that childhood has such a big impact in your adulthood. And of course, you learn a lot of things in your childhood. Those are the development years. If you study psychology, sociology, those are the years that you pick up certain things about the world. You see certain habits, certain things. But it's interesting to think about the beliefs, the habits, the behaviors that you pick up as a child that you can still see today in your adulthood. For example, it could be the fears that maybe your family member or friends or older people in your life taught you, and now you are still applying those same fears into your adulthood, such as, don't do it this way. This is gonna happen to you. Superstitious, like, don't step on a crack, don't break a glass, things of that nature. Or mirror, and those are bad luck, and we take those things into adulthood because I was raised by that way. Or it could be religious. You may have went to certain churches or certain religious settings that your parents took you to, and now you live by that lifestyle now because of what you were taught as a child. Those are good things. The religious settings may be something that you find is good, or the superstitions you might find is bad, and you feel like your life is better because you're following those lifestyles and those things that can prevent you from having bad luck. To each his own. But what I'm trying to say is that from childhood till today, you're still following those type of those notions, those habits, those behaviors. Now, what happens when it goes in a negative direction, such as those fears that could have helped you? You could have overcame them when you were a child, but now you're still living in that life of fear based on certain situations, such as people that like, perfect example, that don't talk to strangers. I think that's a simple example we could talk about. Don't talk to strangers. Whereas when you're an adult, you have to talk to strangers to build networking, to talk to your coworkers, to needing help on the side of the road, things of that nature. And there are people that have bad intentions as well. And I understand the idea that, okay, as a child, you're not supposed to talk to certain people because they might be predators. But when you get to adulthood, you live by that mindset, and you think everyone is not good for you. And it can affect you in the future because your social skills may not be as good as they should be. The way you talk to people may not be as good as you should be because you're so focused on what other people are going to do against you or how people are going to attack you. And we can go and make examples upon examples, but what I want us to realize is that when you start to apply the things from your childhood to your adulthood, we have to be aware of the certain things that we're bringing to our adulthood. And for me, I sat back and I realized, okay, am I living through my childhood, or am I still living as if I'm living in my childhood? And I'll break that down again. I'll say it again. Am I living my life as if I lived through my childhood, or am I still living my life as if this is my childhood? Such as the behaviors that I do, such as the things that I do. And yes, you may be matured as far as age, maybe matured as far as what you're doing in your life, yes. But the way you feel, the way you act, your hesitations, all these different things could be, are they from your childhood and you're still living as if you're living that childhood aspect, or have you learned from them, applied them, moved on, and matured mentally, physically, and emotionally past those experiences? Because let's put it this way, if you have went through something traumatic when you were a child, if you went through something dark as a child, 9 times out of 10, if you haven't really talked about it, you suppressed it. As I said a little bit earlier. But what happens when you get triggered as an adult from something that happened in your childhood, you don't know how to react. You tend to react in a negative way. You tend to react in an unhealthy way, and it affects your relationships. It affects you trying to start something new in your life, or it affects your way of thinking, because now you've put all that energy into those past situations that you can't really focus on the present and the future and what's best for you in the present and the future, because all you're thinking about is trying to avoid those emotions and those triggers from your past. Now, this doesn't, as I said, this doesn't mean that everybody's childhood was bad. This doesn't mean that everybody's childhood was terrible. You may have had certain experiences that have been highlighted through your childhood. And even for the people that have had great childhoods and they're living great, but at the same time, we can't, as I said before, we can't live as if your childhood is so good to the point where you're not willing to grow and mature from that point in your life. And it's so interesting because it makes you think about how much you have grown from when you were younger to now. You may have went through a lot of experiences, but how much have you grown from the certain situations that you've been through? So those things speak a lot about you as a person, and it speaks a lot about what you're thinking about. And then, of course, society says don't dwell in the past. Of course, you shouldn't dwell in the past, but the past gives you beautiful lessons to learn from. Sometimes we don't want to step back into the past and think about those lessons, but they have a story to tell, and those stories should and have to allow you to grow and mature from where you were before to where you are now, because it has so much knowledge that could transform your life. So when you think about your childhood and what your childhood says about you, I just want you to realize that, hey, you may have went through something traumatic, you may have went through a bad experience, and you may have gone past it and you want to think about it again. But you have to claim your childhood. You have to claim your childhood because it's a part of you, but it doesn't have to be who you are. Yes, your childhood is how you were then, but it doesn't have to be your now. Again, to make it really simple, when you think about your childhood and you're trying to figure out what your childhood says about you, remember that yes, you may have had bad experiences in your childhood, but that doesn't define who you are, and that doesn't define what you will be in the future. You claim your childhood for what it is, but it doesn't exactly mean that's who you are. Learn from those experiences, heal from those experiences, be better, do better, and live better. Simple as that. So I hope this has been something that has opened your eyes about certain things, maybe certain behaviors, certain patterns, certain lifestyles that you're living. And sometimes you don't want to attribute to what happened in our childhood, but sometimes you want to attribute it to things that happened in our past. Not to say that every single behavior that's going on right now is because of your past, but there may be some things that you do or some ideas that you think about that can that can be linked to what happened to you in your past. But we have to remember that, yes, the past may be something that you don't want to dwell on, but there's some beautiful lessons that we can take with us from the past to allow ourselves to be who we are meant to be. And another thing I forgot to talk about is the healing. It starts the healing process because it allows you to heal from what happened in the past in your childhood, and it allows you to grow where you may have felt a little stagnant in your life, maybe presently or in the past, or you feel like at this point that you feel like you haven't really been growing as a person. So when you look at your childhood, think about it. Has there been some things in my behavior or the way I'm thinking that has stopped me from growing? Is this something that I need to talk about, or is this something that I need to grow from, or is this something that I need to let go out of my life to heal? As I said, the past is what you claim. Your childhood is what you claim, but it doesn't define you. What happened then does not mean it has to be now. Those past feelings can be talked about so you can heal, and those past emotions can be released so new emotions can grow. So if you're watching this video and you're like, okay, I'm ready to start this process of healing, and my childhood has been rough and I still haven't got over some of the things that happened in my childhood, go to my website, yourcolabcoach.com. Fill out that relationship checklist to see if we're a good fit for each other. Sign up for that free 15-minute coaching session. I'm here to help you with that. Follow me on Facebook, Colab Coaching, Instagram, Colab Coaching. All my videos are on YouTube, Colab Coaching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next series, because this series is about to be very deep. And I'm speaking to all the people that have had childhoods. Everybody's had a childhood. So thank you so much for watching. Be safe out there. Share this video. Have a wonderful day.